Howdy YouTube, Smoking Black XX here. I tried to film this video a few minutes ago on YouTube, lost it for some jacked up reason. So here it goes again. This is how I've been dealing with ropes so far, and yeah, that's about it. Yeah. Let me sharpen my knife first. I was having issues when I tried to film it last. Shiny. Okay, I think I'm ready now. Alright, let's get this road on the show. Got my rope tobacco or cat poo or whatever the hell you want to call it. Now with this tobacco, I handle it two ways. One of the ways that I like handling it, if I don't feel like messing with it, is it's a rope. It's kind of twisted. As you can see, it's got little dangly bits on it, but it's twisted layers of tobacco. And one of the ways I like messing with it is to just tear little pieces off of, around the edge, kind of unwrap it a little bit, and just dry it out and treat it like a flake. Now the other way, which depending on my mood, I'll is just to take your knife and is to kind of I had a good angle on this on the first video. Thumb, yeah. Ooh, there we go. Yeah. Anywho, I like to, with the knife, kind of, I'm gonna cut off a bigger chunk so I have a little bit, so I can prep up a bunch. Dear God, I need to baby the hell out of this knife. Either that or the tobacco's dense as hell. I can't remember which one. Now see, I got my little plug of tobacco. This stuff's wound too tightly to really do much with as a plug. But what I like to do after I have this little plug is just take it gently in half and just cut it in half right down the middle. That way when you do that, you can kind of pull the layers apart. Actually, I'll do the smaller one for the sake of time in this video. But after that, you kind of pull it apart, little big leaves, and you could pack it in a bowl like this, if that's your thing, but this stuff's already a pain in the ass to keep lit as it is, so I figure it needs all the help it can get. And just keep doing that, kind of just pull the pieces apart, all that good stuff. Oh, that's the good stuff. And this stuff, will leave. This stuff is worse than pirate cake is about leaving your hands looking like you stuck them in an engine. But after you got your big old tobacco pieces, there we go. Some big old tobacco pieces, and just want to start taking, start cutting these up and dicing them. Like you would, cilantro or, any sort of spice or something like that, Just keep doing that until you get smaller pieces, and you can stop every once in a while and kind of, just break them apart by hand if that's easier for you. But I love my knives. I love using knives, and this gives me an excuse to cut something with a knife. Just keep doing that until you get down. And I should have said this before, but when you're cutting things, if this is a bit of a knife safety tip, kind of a knife safety 101 tip. When you're cutting with your knife, you the hand that's holding the tobacco down, angle it so that that your nails are where the blade is going to be, so that if you do cut, you're going to be getting the nail and not slicing up, and not, slicing off the tip of your finger. Just keep cutting like that, keeping the fleshy tips of your fingers away from the knife blade. I pride myself on never having cut myself with a knife ever, so anything I can do to keep that almost 24 year stint of never having cut myself with a knife is anything I can do to keep that streak of not slicing my fingers off going is pretty good, pretty sage advice. Yeah, you just after you've gotten your plug cut off, you cut that, and then you just get it to the texture you need it. This is a little bit rougher than I like to do it, but if you let this dry out, this sort of kind of rough cut. I don't know if you can, well, you can see that, but that sort of rough cut is usually good enough to make something out of. And I'll just keep the other half of the plug that I put off, and then the rest of the little flakes, I'll just put those back in the tin so they don't get too dry, because tobacco that's too dry isn't terribly fun to smoke either. So this is a little bit longer than the first video, but it works. And that's how I like to deal with that is how I prefer to deal with rope tobaccos, either by unwinding it and unwinding it and treating it like a flake, unwinding it and treating it like a flake, or cutting the plug off and then mangling the hell out of it until it becomes kind of a shredded tobacco thing. Anywho, take care, and as always, keep your stick on the ice.